All right, I'm back. This We the People News. One more time at it. All right. Not attorney, not giving legal advice. Educational purposes only. Do your own research. Okay, I'm hearsay. This is hearsay. All right, and just giving full disclosure, I'm on length. Okay, I have not done the research he has, but I'm recording these things for me to look up to get me out of hearsay so I can read the things firsthand, right? And again, we never just look straight forward. We always got to, you know, look around us, okay? Why do you think fighters dance around the ring? They're looking all around them, where do I need to go? What's my next move? Bob and weave. We got to take this guy down, okay? So, arm yourself with knowledge, okay? And let's proceed forward. And since you're already in prison, don't go ahead and just create an imprisonment in your mind.
Let me just check YouTube and see if they're getting anything. Yep, there's some comments there, but I'm not quite sure what they're talking about. Anyways, so this is my constitutional challenge. It's in the Court of Appeals now, and I'm prepared to take it to the Supreme Court. I've actually been thinking about doing a Rule 11 motion like the Brunson brothers did, but I haven't yet. I still might. So we'll see. But the remote viewers saw Congress adjourning for the last time, and I'm wondering if that 1871 corporation's ruled unconstitutional, then that would certainly cause them to have to adjourn, and then that would create all sorts of interesting things. So the reason I mention all of that is, and I'm going to finish reading this thing in a second, but the reason I mention all of that is because remote viewers have seen Congress adjourning for the last time, and then what I'm hearing is going to happen. There's going to be a huge amount of chaos over this year. Guantanamo Bay, I don't know how much you know about Guantanamo Bay, but Guantanamo Bay has been expanded by a lot. And they've got housing for 250,000 jail guards in Guantanamo Bay now, from what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. And so there's the military is involved. We were attacked by a foreign enemy, by China, and by, by the Venezuelans. If you listen to Patrick Byrne, he says that Venezuela, they actually brag about having stolen the elections in 70 countries around the world. So we got to take our country back, first of all, and then we got to help these other countries deal with their issues as far as the stolen elections are concerned. So, we'll see how it all plays out. But what I'm hearing is that there's going to be arrests. Matter of fact, if you listen to General Flynn, he's saying he's waiting for Comey to get arrested. So we'll see. I don't know if Comey's going to be the first. He doesn't know if he's going to be the first or not. But he thinks that there's going to be some arrests, some very public arrests, and everybody's going to see it. And what they're saying is that they've got the budget for the rest of the fiscal year, the money appropriated. So then Congress is going to have money appropriated until the end of September. Now, if I go to the Court of Appeals, I could easily have my answer by then. Although it might take longer, or maybe I'll do a Rule 11 motion to expedite it. Anyways, this is the issues that I'm bringing up. So what I've heard is that when the budget, the fiscal year ends, they will start shutting down departments of the government, and then Congress will adjourn for the last time. Although I don't think there's anything about that yet, but that they will start shutting down departments of the government because the money will run out. And what I'm also hearing is that there's going to be Cliff Highs, and he did a recent Substack where he talks about how
I don't know how much interesting you guys in about that, but mine's more of the documents. Now, if I was just laying in bed and watching this, I may be a little bit more inclined, but I'm recording this for my educational purposes only.
And even the stuff that's not created by Congress. And so this is it's Cliff High saying that's going to come out in May, and it's going to create a lot of chaos. Retired Admiral Jim Rickards is saying that the price of gold is going to go to 26,000 this year. I think that's in the 30s. The stock on Black Tuesday, the stock market, educated guess. I have, let me put it that way. I either have it as cash or I put it into cryptos.
Something. Now they put all the algorithms in place so that you can't even speak with a human. So that's happening here.
The artificial intelligence basically takes jobs away from people that are doing, simple jobs, but then they can do something that's more. Now, there was Jim Willey talked about a commercial. So it's that's going to start that's you can just do all sorts of things. Anyways, so let's go on with this brief.
Here we go. All right, so heads up, y'all. While I'm recording this is going on live. So, and me watching this is kind of, back here because I wanted to catch it over there. You know what I mean? So sorry about that, but I don't want to miss the opportunity just in case it does not appear back up on UT in a couple of days.
Support of the Notice of Constitutional Challenge, which is why it's called a Bill of Pains and Penalties, similar to a Bill of Attainder, in violation of the organic laws of this Constitution for the United States of America, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1, and Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3. Bill of Attainder means a legislative act, no matter what their form, that apply to either named individuals or easily ascertainable members of a group in such a way as to inflict punishment on them without a judicial trial. Well, think about it. That's what happens. You're not having a judicial trial. It's an administrator, okay? And it can be against you personally. It's a legislative act because he's an administrator. And so a Bill of Attainder is a special legislative act prescribing punishment without a trial for a specific person or group. Bills of Attainder are prohibited by the U.S. Constitution. And I can tell you in Canada, I would be bringing that up, okay? But it's going to be, if you go to the CanLII and do a search for attainder, the Supreme Court of Canada has ruled they're unconstitutional. And so that's the argument, okay? Any traffic offense, that's an attainder. It's a Bill of Attainder and a Bill of Pains and Penalties.
It's treason, false oaths. You want to get me going, or?
Well, it's easier to argue this, but it certainly is. I mean, but it's really it's an administrative hearing. Okay, it's a bought and paid for clerk masquerading as a judge. It's a bill of attainder, bill of pains and penalties. A bill of pains and penalties. A bill is a legislative act, though similar to a bill of attainder, prescribes punishment less severe than capital punishment. A bill of pains and penalties included in the U.S. Constitution bans on bills of attainder. Also means they have no authority to do anything judicial and are fraudulently and deceptively presenting themselves as a court of law. Ministerial officers are incompetent to receive grants of judicial power from the legislature. Their acts in attempting to exercise such powers are necessarily nullities.
Sit and think about it. So when you go into an administrative court like traffic courts and all that, what does it say on their desk? A judge. Well, they're not a judge. Okay? Even when my favorite, magistrate, Fisher, right? He's not a judge. He shouldn't even be doing what he's doing because that actually takes a judicial branch, not administrative. So if he's acting in administrative, what are they doing? Bills of attainder, right? And the reason why you could say it's a bill of attainder, because you're liable to spend 6 months in jail or up to $2,000. Okay?
Their legislative inferior court might be a superior court of general jurisdiction under certain circumstances. The court of general jurisdiction is presumed to be acting within its jurisdiction until the contrary is shown. But when a superior court of general jurisdiction undertakes anything that's in derogation of common law, it becomes quad hoc an inferior court of limited jurisdiction.
So in short, the administrative branch is Walmart suing Diesel's Joe Shack, all right, for whatever reason, whether I trespassed or whatever, right? But that's what the administrative is technically for, is the corporation body. It's the reason why it's a privilege, okay? Men and women have rights to access to get remedy and not be charged for it, because you cannot charge a right. But let them tell you that. So if you ever ask one, why don't you ask them that? Let's see what they say. And then you know if they're acting in good faith and in honor. Which, by the way, honor is a title of nobility. Which, that's the 13th Amendment, says no title of nobility.
To be the statutes which would deprive the citizen of the rights of person or property without a regular trial according to the course of usage of common law would not be the law of the land. And their maritime codes have absolutely nothing to do with common law. When, therefore, a court of general jurisdiction proceeds under a special statute, it becomes a court of limited jurisdiction for the purpose of such proceeding. And that's Book 21 of Corpus Juris Secundum, Courts, Section 2. Accordingly, where a court of general jurisdiction undertakes to carry out a special power, a decision made and exercised.
Heads up, y'all. That was his, not mine.
Such power is treating as a ruling of a court of limited jurisdiction, and the presumption applicable to a court of general jurisdiction that it acted within the scope of its jurisdiction does not apply. It is familiar law that when special statutory authority and derogation of common law is conferred on courts of general jurisdiction, such a court of general jurisdiction becomes quad hoc a court of inferior or limited jurisdiction. Therefore, it is actually an administrative hearing for their maritime code. Ministerial act is an act that a public officer is required to perform in a prescribed manner in obedience to the mandate of legal authority without regard to his own judgment or opinion concerning such acts, propriety or impropriety, when a statute given state of facts exists. Discretion, on the other hand, is the power conferred on public functionaries to act officially according to dictates of their own judgment.
And if he's wrong, y'all, there's the information to look up for you guys to read and verify. Okay? Verify. Right? He has to do these things to have standing in court. Does he or does he not? Right? So he's got to have that. So it does exist out there. As how it's being used. And attorneys are not using it for your benefit. They're using it against you.
When acting to enforce a statute and a subsequent amendments to the present date, the judge of municipal court is acting as an administrative officer and not in a judicial capacity. Courts administrating and enforcing statutes do not act judicially, but merely ministerially, but merely act as an extension as